Let's open the book on this. Mother's Day is shaping up to be scorching across Los Angeles.
Hi, I'm Garrett.
And I'm Leah. Welcome to Laid Back Local, the news of the day, with Leah and Garrett here in Los Angeles. First up, Southern California is preparing for a heat wave that will peak on Mother's Day, with temperatures reaching near 100 degrees in some valleys. A high-pressure system, a dome of sinking air that traps heat and clears clouds, is moving in to replace the cooler low pressure we just had. Meteorologists advise staying hydrated, limiting sun exposure between late morning and late afternoon, and finding shade when possible. The heat is expected to last through Monday, with a cool down sliding in next week. If you've got outdoor brunch or park plans for Mother's Day, consider an earlier start, bring more water, and have indoor backup options.
Yeah, that checks out. And wow, a 20-degree jump over normal for early May is a lot. I mean, that's a curveball for folks banking on patio time. If you're in the San Fernando or San Gabriel valleys, you know those spots run hotter. This is one where public safety really matters. Keep an eye on kids, older neighbors, and pets. Never leave anyone in a parked car, not even for a minute. And if you can, shift hikes or park time to sunrise. I'm down for that plan. Next up, a breakthrough in the Kristen Smart case as investigators search the home of her convicted killer's mother. Kristen Smart was a Cal Poly student who disappeared in 1996 after a party near Cal State San Luis Obispo. Yesterday, a search warrant was served at the Arroyo Grande home of Susan Flores, who is Paul Flores' mother. Arroyo Grande is in San Luis Obispo County, a few hours up the coast from LA. This follows scientists detecting volatile organic compounds, basically gases released by decomposing material, that could be related to human remains. Paul Flores, the last person seen with Kristen, was sentenced to life in prison 3 years ago for her murder, but her body has never been found. Investigators are now using soil vapor technology, a method to sample gases in the ground. It's cutting edge, still in the research phase, and it has never been used in criminal court proceedings. Important note here, Susan Flores has not been charged with a crime and has denied knowing what happened to Kristen.
That's a story worth telling, and honestly, I'm encouraged by the forensics angle here. Forensics is science, and when teams return to cold cases with new tools, that persistence can move mountains. Soil vapor sampling sounds technical, but in simple terms, it's sniffing the ground for chemical clues. Real talk, if this helps bring answers to the Smart family after 3 decades, that's powerful. Why now? Because technology evolves, and investigators are clearly committed to following any credible lead. Next up, the Justice Department is accusing UCLA's David Geffen School of Medicine of racial bias in admissions. The allegation is that from 2023 to 2025, the school discriminated against white and Asian American applicants by prioritizing racial demographics over merit. This is being investigated under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits race-based discrimination by federally funded institutions. It also comes after the 2023 Supreme Court decision known as Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard. That ruling ended formal race-conscious admissions, but allowed students to discuss race in essays. According to findings released yesterday, the department says UCLA's process favored some applicants even when academic scores were lower. UCLA has not yet responded.
That's heavy, and it hits different given how competitive med school is. I'm all about fairness, so if the allegation is that boxes were checked over qualifications, that's a problem. At the same time, the bigger picture is complicated. Affirmative action, to define it quickly, is policy aimed at expanding opportunity for historically underrepresented groups. With the Supreme Court's ruling, schools have to thread the needle. They can consider lived experience in essays, but not use race as a deciding factor. If these findings hold, it could push campuses toward more transparent criteria, clearer rubrics, and stronger oversight. Why would a school risk crossing that line? I guess pressure to shape a certain class profile, but the law sets boundaries. Clarity matters here. Next up, Yosemite National Park is seeing major overcrowding after dropping its reservation system earlier this year. Yosemite, California's most visited national park, now reports its highest visitor numbers in a decade. We're talking traffic jams and full parking near Half Dome and El Capitan, two iconic granite features. The prior reservation system, which started in 2020 during the pandemic, had cut congestion and gave a quieter experience. It was scrapped in February under a new targeted management approach, which is supposed to handle crowds without a blanket cap. Critics say it's not working. Long lines are back at the gates and inside the valley.
Keeping it real, this is a classic tension between access and preservation. Yosemite covers over 1,100 square miles, but those famous vistas funnel everyone to the same few spots. When the reservation system was in place, visitors reported more serenity and less gridlock. Now, without it, you get a free-for-all. The idea was to make the park more accessible, but the execution has trade-offs: crowded roads, stressed resources, and a diminished visitor experience. For Angelinos headed up there, plan for delays, arrive early, and maybe pick lesser-known trails to spread out the impact. Last up, a feisty debate among California gubernatorial candidates put Governor Gavin Newsom's record in the crosshairs. The debate at East Los Angeles College featured 7 candidates. On the Republican side, Steve Hilton, a former Fox News host, and Chad Bianco, the Riverside County Sheriff, called Newsom a failure. On the Democratic side, Antonio Villaraigosa, former LA mayor, and Matt Mahan, the current San Jose mayor, offered more measured critiques. Meanwhile, Katie Porter, former Orange County Representative Tom Steyer, a billionaire activist, and Xavier Becerra, former U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary, praised Newsom's boldness. Big issues included housing costs, environmental policy, and the economy. There were shots at Becerra over an alleged salary scheme tied to a former staffer, though prosecutors have portrayed him as a victim, not a perpetrator. One stat that stood out came from Villaraigosa, citing a UC Merced study that said losing both legal and undocumented immigrants would hit California's economy by about $274 billion. The debate aired on CNN and sets up a possible June 2nd primary that could send Hilton and a leading Democrat to a runoff. A runoff is a second round between the top 2 finishers if no one wins outright.
This one's got some depth to it. The split visions are stark. You've got sharply different takes on affordability, climate rules, and the role of immigration in the economy. That UC Merced figure, about $274 billion, underscores that immigrants, documented and undocumented, are deeply tied to labor, spending, and tax bases. So when candidates talk enforcement or expansion, it's not abstract. It has a bottom-line impact. I'll say this: voters will be weighing who can move the needle on housing and cost of living without kneecapping growth. That's something to chew on, huh?
And that's where we'll leave it for now. Stay cool out there and take care of each other in the heat.
Thanks for tuning in to Laid Back Local, the news of the day with Leah and Garrett here in Los Angeles. Have a great day and catch us again tomorrow.